Everybody pretend this is a huge victory for Trump, so he'll end this catastrophe. And guys, I've been saying that from the very beginning. That has been my approach to how we end this. The best possible way for the United States is to just get out of the conflict, give Donald Trump a little pat on the back after he shits his britches. Tell him he's a big boy, and next time he'll make it to the potty, we promise. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. And do you feel like you have whiplash? Do you need to call a personal injury attorney because this war is absolutely psychotic and we can't go 12 days without the entire narrative shifting from peace to full-scale war to back to peace to we won to we lost to the Strait of Hormuz is open, it's reclosed, back open, actually it's closed. Iran is firing on ships and we're back to threatening war crimes and civilization wipeouts as well as trying to use nukes. Man, whoa, it's wild out here, all in the span of about 48 hours as well. Pretty crazy, huh? And currently where we're at, yes, the Strait of Hormuz is completely closed. Our greatest ally broke the ceasefire about 1 hour into the new ceasefire that Donald Trump talked about Friday. And then reports are coming in that Donald Trump tried to use nuclear weapons on Iran on Saturday and was stopped by General Kane. So, wow. Lots going on, huh? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel. Follow us on Patreon. Grab some America First, America Only merch. Let's jump into it. Let's start from the beginning. And the beginning is actually only Friday. But, wow, this moves fast. So let's start at the beginning of, well, this current segment of the story of the war, which started Friday, and I think we could all remember that on Friday we declared total and utter victory. Yes, that the Strait of Hormuz was completely open and ready for business and full passage, as Donald Trump says, but the naval blockade will remain in full force and effect as it pertains to Iran only. Till such time as our transaction with Iran was 100% complete, this process should go very quickly. In that most of the points are already negotiated. Doesn't sound like it, actually. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump. Yes, things were going amazing. Isn't that interesting on Friday how there's always an announcement for peace every single Friday for the last 8 weeks, and then it just turns out over the weekend that doesn't turn out to be true. It's almost like there's this is being done on purpose so that his son can insider trade oil futures, but who knows? What do I know? Now again, historic peace, the Strait of Hormuz completely open. The only problem was about 54 minutes after that post, our greatest ally decided to continue bombing Lebanon. Yes, our greatest ally out there breaking world records and their own records for fastest ceasefire ever violated. And as it's been made very, very clear by Iran, Israel must stop attacking Lebanon if we want to have a peace deal or a ceasefire go through. And like we've talked about 100 times on the show, we all know that's not going to happen unless the United States forces it to happen. And it appears, like I said in the last episode about this, that we're going to find out who's actually in charge of this country, depending on whether our greatest ally violated the ceasefire or not. And, well, it looks like we know who's in charge. And yes, after about 57 minutes of Donald Trump's post that the Strait of Hormuz was open, it was announced that the U.S. had failed to uphold its obligations, and Iran has once again closed the Strait of Hormuz. And that is currently where we sit as of right now of filming this video. Yes, there's no ceasefire, no peace deals, and Donald Trump is lashing out and threatening war crimes yet again. We'll get to that, but also yesterday, the Strait of Hormuz, which was supposed to be open, had this going on. Yes, 2 Indian ships that thought the strait was open because Donald Trump told them it was, were fired on by Iranian forces' gunboats, which, isn't that interesting? I thought Iran's navy was completely destroyed, but their navy is just in the Strait of Hormuz firing on oil tankers. So, okay, that's odd. When the Indian oil tankers tried to cross. And as you can see here, they were turned around as they were nearing the island of Hormuz. Okay, great. Now, important to remember that, as Donald Trump said, the blockade to the blockade is still in effect. So now Iran is saying that the Strait of Hormuz will be permanently closed until the U.S. naval blockade is also lifted. So yes, not looking like peace is really what's going on right now. And reporting today, as of just a few hours ago, is, yes, Strait of Hormuz shipping again near standstill after shots and seizures. Because yes, the United States also fired upon and boarded and seized an Iranian tanker. And of course, we all know who violated the ceasefire. Nobody's actually questioning that other than Donald Trump. So Here's what he said happened. Trump says Iran decided to fire bullets yesterday in the Strait of Hormuz, a total violation of our ceasefire agreement. Many of them were aimed at a French ship and a freighter from the United Kingdom. That wasn't nice. My representatives are going to Islamabad, Pakistan, which sounds like that's been canceled as well. They will be there tomorrow evening for negotiations. Iran recently announced they are closing the strait, which is strange because our blockade already closed it. Yes, Donald Trump is now taking credit for the Strait of Hormuz being closed, pretending like Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz was his idea. Okay. They're helping us without knowing, and they're the ones that have closed the passage, $500 million a day. Okay. And so while Donald Trump is claiming that the Strait of Hormuz being closed is actually helping all of us, this is also what he said about the Strait of Hormuz being closed. Yes, and again, I'm sorry for your whiplash in your neck, but here we go. So after he says that it's a good thing that Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz again, he then says the blockade is going to remain, and unfortunately, we'll have to start dropping bombs again. Well, that seems a little odd. If the Strait of Hormuz being closed was actually helping us, why would we then resort to bombing them for it? Oh. And here's where it gets a little psychotic, and we get into the craziest part of the episode, talking about what Donald Trump attempted to do on Saturday, or at least reports are saying. But it kind of makes sense when we see his most recent posts here. Yes, Donald Trump is crashing out and is back to threatening complete and total annihilation of a civilian populace. It says here, President Trump tells Fox News' Trey Yinks that it is the last chance for Iran to agree to a deal. I know we've heard that about 47 times. Vowing to not make the same mistakes as former President Obama. If Iran does not sign this deal, the whole country is getting blown up, Trump says. And of course, he actually said this. Again, we're back to threatening genocide of an entire civilization. And he says here, whole country is getting blown up if Iran doesn't sign the deal. Now, the reason why this is important is for us to understand what apparently just took place on Saturday. The reporting's coming out. Retired CIA analyst Larry Johnson said during an emergency meeting on Saturday, Trump tried to use the nuclear codes on Iran, and he was stopped by General Dan Kane. We are literally inches away from destruction. No wonder Trump's new ballroom doubles as a bunker. Oh, that can't be true. Trump would never do that. But again, he's literally threatening to do it. How do you think you blow up a country that's 3 times the size of Texas with 100 million people in it? Nuclear weapons. Now, ready for some more whiplash? Now, while Donald Trump is threatening to nuclear annihilate an entire civilian populace, he's also saying this. We have a very good relationship with Iran right now, as hard as that is to believe. Yeah, okay. And where that leaves us currently as of right now, yes, those peace talks that were supposed to happen in Pakistan, turns out J.D. Vance will not be attending them, citing security concerns. So where is this problem all stemming from? Why can't we have a ceasefire remain in place? Why can't we actively work towards a peace deal? Well, we know, because a certain someone is refusing to let that happen. As again, part of the peace deal has to be that Lebanon is left alone, and they're not going to be. So breaking as of about an hour of me filming this, it says, our greatest ally entrenches hold on South Lebanon, warns residents to stay out. So it says, our greatest ally is entrenching its grip over southern Lebanon despite a ceasefire in the war with Hezbollah. And when I talked about who is actually in charge, well, we found out. Because Donald Trump said, our greatest ally will not be bombing Lebanon any longer. They are prohibited, all caps, from doing so by the United States of America. Enough is enough. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump. And guess what they decided to do? Straight middle finger to Donald Trump and the United States, as they don't care what this guy says because, again, doesn't look like he's in control of the situation or that he's the one calling the shots. And you don't have to take my word for it. Let's take it straight out of the horse's mouth.
להשיג את הפסקת האש, חיזבאללה התעקש על 2 תנאים. התנאי ראשון, ישראל חייבת לסגת מכל שטחה של לבנון, עד הגבול הבינלאומי. תנאי שני, הפסקת אש במתכונת שקט תמורת שקט. לא הסכמתי לא לזה ולא לזה, ואכן שני התנאים האלה אינם מתקיימים. אנחנו נשארים בלבנון ברצועת ביטחון מעובה.
There you go. He said himself, he agrees to none of those conditions, and then he refuses to stop the war with Lebanon. So, great. Looks like no peace is coming because we can't seem to put a lid on that, even though we're the ones that pay for their military and their ability to do this. We somehow still aren't in control. Isn't that bizarre? I wonder why. And of course, since everybody knows what's going on with this, of course, Donald Trump was crashing out on Truth Social yet again about it. Yes, Trump says, our greatest ally never talked me into a war with Iran. The results of October 7th added to my lifelong opinion that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. I watch and read the fake news pundits and polls in total disbelief. 90% of what they say are lies and made-up stories, and the polls are rigged. He's talking about the polls showing that basically the vast majority of America no longer supports them. But yeah, those are made up polls for sure. Just like the results in Venezuela, which the media doesn't like talking about, the results in Iran will be amazing. Okay. Okay. If you have to scream at people and type in all caps that someone didn't force you to do something, it's not a good way to show people that they didn't force you to do it. And of course, he continues to crash out on the subject, as he says here. Whether people like our greatest ally or not, they've proven to be a great ally of the United States of America. For context, they are not an ally of the United States of America. Let me show you that right here. I'll type it in. We'll do this in real time. Does the U.S. and Israel have any formal treaty of alliance? What's the answer say? No. The United States and Israel do not have a formal alliance, NATO-style mutual defense treaty. So for those of you who didn't know, they are literally not our ally. Not my opinion, objectively. Isn't it funny how a country that we have no formal alliances or defense treaties with, we give $40 billion a year to fund their military? Wonder why. Bizarre stuff, isn't it? But how are things going with our actual NATO allies? Well, pretty good. As you can see here, the country of France wouldn't even let our planes headed to our greatest ally loaded up with military supplies. Why those are being shipped there to begin with, don't know. Fly over French territory. France has been very unhelpful with respect to the butcher of Iran. So yes, this just adds to the United States allies who are now refusing to allow the United States to use their military bases or their airspace to conduct this war. Yeah. Okay. But they're on the way to help, we promise, according to Donald Trump. Now, of course, the maggots immediately flocked to make a fool out of themselves the second Donald Trump posted that the Strait of Hormuz is open and peace is here at last. All right, this dork says Iran is never closing the Strait of Hormuz again. Wow, this thing aged like milk about 52 minutes after he posted it, huh? Iran has agreed to never close the Strait of Hormuz again. It will never be used as a weapon against the world. Even Ann Coulter, absolute massive supporter of Donald Trump, comes out and says, yay, the strait that was open before we began bombing Iran is open again. Everybody pretend this is a huge victory for Trump, so he'll end this catastrophe. And guys, I've been saying that from the very beginning. That has been my approach to how we end this. The best possible way for the United States is to just get out of the conflict, give Donald Trump a little pat on the back after he shit his britches, tell him he's a big boy, and next time he'll make it to the potty, we promise. And we come home and maybe actually focus on this country. Kind of a pipe dream, I bet, but who knows at this point. And Donald Trump is even weighing in on himself. Yes, just in, President Real Donald Trump shares post by Warlord Dilly calling out General Flynn, Patrick Byrne, Stu Peters, Alex Jones, Candace Owens, the Hodge twins, Tucker Carlson, and Owen Schroyer. The fact I didn't make this list is actually a little bit disappointing, to be honest. It says, maybe it's time to shut the fuck up and let him cook. And then Donald Trump literally reposting videos of people saying to trust him.
Do you remember what it was like when the 2020 election was rigged and stolen? Do you remember all the bullshit stories people told you about how the fraudulent election would be overturned? Do you remember the symbols of tyranny when fences went up around D.C. for Joe Biden's inauguration? Do you remember watching fuel and...
Absolutely out of control. And also, I love how they use a clip showing the price of gas under Joe Biden at $3.19 a gallon, as if that's high compared to what Trump has now done. Yeah, friendly reminder, gas is hitting prices like this in some places right now. So what's going to happen from here? Well, the fact that it looks like Donald Trump was trying to literally nuke Iran over the weekend, I would say that the war is probably not about to wind down. It looks like massive escalation is probably coming. Would not be shocked to see boots on the ground coming very, very soon after this. And another reason why this probably is not ending anytime soon. Again, as we mentioned before, yes, Trump's family and his buddies making a killing off this. So check this out. Literally minutes before Trump declared the Strait of Hormuz open again, a trader offloaded 8,000 Brent crude oil future contracts, effectively a $760 million wager that oil prices were about to fall. 5 minutes before, with almost $1 billion wager. Now, who even has the money to do that? I don't know. Someone like Jared Kushner comes to mind, but what do I know? So guys, there we are. We're caught up over the last 72 hours. Who knows where the next 72 hours is going to take us, but I'm sure it's not in a good direction. But we'll just have to wait and see, and I'll cover it then. It's going to do it for this one. Catch y'all in the next video.